Silicon Sentinel intro song. Title, Neon Guardian. Genre, punk metal and hip-hop fusion. Verse 1, rap. In the city of neon lights and shattered dreams, where the shadows whisper and the sirens scream. Ethan Cole, the name you better recognize. A sentinel in silicon, see the fire in his eyes. Trust is rare in this world of deceit. Built his own friends, got no need for the weak. AI on the rise like Luna at his side. Combat androids ready, Nexus down to ride. Chorus, punk metal. Neon Guardian, standing tall. In the face of chaos, he'll never fall. With silicon allies, he'll defend. Against the darkness, till the very end. Neon Guardian in the night. Shining bright, he's ready to fight. In a world of steel and deceit, Ethan Cole won't accept defeat. Verse 2, rap. Drakonis, ancient evil with a cursed soul. Playing Prophet King, but we all know his goal. Chaos in the streets, but Ethan's got the plan. Silver blade ready, gonna take a stand. Supermodels by his side, they see the truth. In a world gone mad, they got nothing to lose. Unity and trust, a new dawn breaks. Silicon and human, together they'll shake. Chorus, punk metal. Neon Guardian, standing tall. In the face of chaos, he'll never fall. With silicon allies, he'll defend. Against the darkness, till the very end. Neon Guardian in the night. Shining bright, he's ready to fight. In a world of steel and deceit, Ethan Cole won't accept defeat. Bridge, metal guitar solo. A blistering guitar solo with fast-paced riffs and powerful drumming, building up the intensity for the final chorus. Chorus, punk metal. Neon Guardian, standing tall. In the face of chaos, he'll never fall. With silicon allies, he'll defend. Against the darkness, till the very end. Neon Guardian in the night. Shining bright, he's ready to fight. In a world of steel and deceit, Ethan Cole won't accept defeat. Outro, rap. City lights flicker, but the hope remains. Silicon Sentinel, breaking the chains. In the face of evil, he'll stand his ground. Neon Guardian, victory bound. Chapter 1, Trust in Silicon. The city stretched beneath the night sky, a living organism of light and sound. Neon lights flickered like digital fireflies, casting their vibrant glow on the streets below. Holographic advertisements danced across towering skyscrapers, each vying for attention in a symphony of commercialism. In the midst of this urban jungle, drones zipped through the air, their paths crisscrossing in a well-choreographed ballet of technology. Ethan Cole stood on the balcony of his high-rise apartment, his eyes scanning the cityscape. He took a deep breath, the cool night air filling his lungs, and exhaled slowly. The city was alive, but it was also a breeding ground for deceit and betrayal. Ethan knew this all too well. In a world where people lied, cheated, and deceived, trust was a luxury he couldn't afford. That's why he had built his own friends who were incapable of lying, who would never betray him. I trust Silicon, he murmured to himself, a wry smile tugging at the corners of his lips. Carbon-based life forms, not so much. Ethan stepped back inside his apartment, the sliding glass door hissing shut behind him. His sanctuary was a marvel of modern engineering, filled with advanced computer systems and holographic displays. Wires and circuits formed an intricate web, a testament to his genius and dedication. But the real heart of his sanctuary was his silicon-based friends. Luna, he called out, his voice echoing softly in the spacious room. A holographic figure materialized in front of him. Luna's form was sleek and elegant, her presence exuding a calming aura. Yes, Ethan, she responded, her voice smooth and reassuring. Any updates on the security protocols? Ethan asked, turning his attention to a nearby console. All systems are operating within optimal parameters, Luna replied. However, I detected unusual activity in the city's network. It seems there is a new player in town. Ethan frowned. A new player? Yes, Luna confirmed. An individual named Drakonis. He's been making quite an impression among the city's elite. Ethan spent his days working as a programmer, his skills in high demand among the city's wealthy and powerful. His silicon-based friends assisted him in every aspect of his life, from managing complex algorithms to providing companionship. Nexus, his combat android, stood guard, always vigilant and ready to protect Ethan from any threat. One afternoon, while Ethan was immersed in his work, a notification pinged on his console. It was a message from Vera, a supermodel who had become increasingly reliant on Ethan's expertise. She often sought his help with personal issues, and Ethan, despite his distrust of humans, couldn't deny the allure of her beauty and the challenge of solving her problems. Ethan, I need your help, Vera's message read. Something strange is happening, and I think it's connected to this Drakonis person you've been investigating. Ethan sighed and glanced at Nexus. Looks like we're going to be busy. As night fell, Ethan made his way to the heart of the city, where the elite gathered in opulent venues. He attended a high society event, blending in with the crowd as he observed the interactions around him. It didn't take long for him to spot Drakonis, a figure of magnetic charisma who seemed to command the attention of everyone in the room. Drakonis' influence was palpable, his every word and gesture captivating those around him. Ethan watched from the shadows, gathering information and assessing the threat. He had heard whispers of Drakonis' origins, tales that drew from ancient Indo-Greek mythology. Some said he was a prophet king cursed with immortality, a punishment for betraying his own people. The evening's events confirmed Ethan's suspicions. Drakonis was not just a charismatic leader, he was a force of chaos, spreading his influence like a virus. As the night wore on, Ethan returned to his apartment, his mind racing with strategies to counter this new threat. "Luna, we need to dig deeper into Drakonis' past," Ethan said, sitting down at his console. "Find anything you can about his connection to Indo-Greek mythology. There has to be a weakness we can exploit." "Understood, Ethan," Luna replied. "Initiating search protocols now?" Ethan leaned back in his chair, staring at the ceiling. The city below continued its ceaseless dance of light and shadow, unaware of the storm that was brewing. He knew the battle ahead would be challenging, but with his Silicon-based friends by his side, he was ready to face whatever came his way. Chapter 2, Rising Threats. The neon-lit streets of the city seemed more ominous tonight as Ethan Cole walked among the crowd, his senses heightened. In his human form, he blended seamlessly into the sea of faces, a shadow among shadows. He had spent weeks gathering information about Drakonis, the enigmatic figure who had begun to exert a terrifying influence over the city's elite. Ethan adjusted his collar, the micro-transmitter hidden within sending real-time data to Luna. The eye's voice crackled softly in his earpiece. "Ethan, the high society event is just ahead. Drakonis is expected to make an appearance." He nodded subtly, his eyes scanning the surroundings. The venue was a shimmering beacon of opulence, a stark contrast to the gritty underbelly of the city. As he stepped inside, the atmosphere changed instantly. Crystal chandeliers cast a warm glow over the elegantly dressed attendees, and soft classical music played in the background. Ethan navigated through the crowd, his eyes always moving. He spotted several key figures, their faces familiar from the data Luna had provided. They were all under Drakonis' sway, their expressions a mix of awe and fear. As he approached the center of the room, he finally saw him, Drakonis. Tall, with a commanding presence, his eyes seemed to pierce through the crowd, holding them in an unbreakable trance. Ethan kept his distance, observing. Drakonis moved with an otherworldly grace, his voice a low, hypnotic murmur as he spoke to a cluster of admirers. Ethan's fingers itched to activate his superhero form, but he knew he had to be patient. He needed more information, more leverage. As the night wore on, Ethan gathered what he could. Each piece of information a small step towards understanding Drakonis' plans. When he finally slipped out of the event, the city seemed darker, the shadows deeper. The following morning, Ethan was back in his apartment, reviewing the data with Luna and Nexus. The calm of his sanctuary was a stark contrast to the chaos brewing outside. He was deep in thought when Vera arrived, her presence like a sudden gust of wind. "Ethan, I need to talk to you," she said, her voice edged with desperation. Her eyes were wide, her normally composed demeanor shattered. He looked up, concern furrowing his brow. "What is it, Vera?" "It's Drakonis," she whispered, her voice trembling. He's doing something to people. They can't resist him. And I can't stop thinking about you." Ethan's heart skipped a beat. He had always known Vera was drawn to him, but this was different. He listened as she poured out her fears, her obsession with him a mirror of the control Drakonis seemed to exert over everyone he touched. As he comforted her, his mind raced. Vera's insights, though clouded by emotion, offered new clues about Drakonis' methods. He made a mental note of everything she said, knowing it would be crucial in the battle to come. Later that day, Ethan and Nexus began their preparations. The apartment buzzed with activity as they strategized, every move calculated, every contingency planned. Ethan's internal struggle grew more intense, the temptation to use his amplified powers gnawed at him, but he knew he had to stay grounded to improve his human skills. "Ethan, are you sure about this?" Nexus asked, his voice a steady anchor. Ethan nodded, his resolve hardening. "We have no choice. Drakonis is a threat unlike any we've faced. We need to be ready in every form." The night loomed ahead, a dark promise of the battles to come. Ethan stood on his balcony, looking out over the city. The neon lights flickered, casting eerie reflections on the streets below. He knew that the path forward would be fraught with danger, but with Luna, Nexus, and even Vera by his side, he was prepared to face the rising threats. Chapter 3, Conflict Unveiled. The city of neon lights, once a beacon of progress and prosperity, had become a war zone. Drakonis' influence spread like a plague, turning the bustling metropolis into a place of fear and uncertainty. Panic rippled through the streets as news of sudden, inexplicable chaos reached every corner of the city. Reports of riots, unexplained phenomena, and the disappearance of key figures created a sense of dread that hung in the air like a toxic fog. Ethan Cole watched the unfolding chaos from the safety of his high-tech apartment. His mind raced with strategies and plans, each one more desperate than the last. He knew that Drakonis was behind this escalation, using his power and influence to destabilize the city. The challenge now was to protect the people without revealing his true identity as Silicon Sentinel. Luna's voice broke through his thoughts, calm and precise. Ethan, reports indicate multiple incidents of unrest in the downtown area. The pattern suggests a coordinated effort. Ethan nodded, his eyes narrowing. Drakonis is pushing us into a corner. We need to act fast. He transformed into Silicon Sentinel, his natural abilities amplified tenfold, and leapt into action. The streets were a battleground, with Drakonis' followers causing mayhem at every turn. Ethan moved through the chaos, using his enhanced speed and strength to protect civilians and dismantle the threats. Despite his efforts, the sheer number of adversaries tested his limits. In the midst of the chaos, a figure emerged from the shadows, Drakonis himself, his presence commanding and sinister. "Silicon Sentinel," he called out, his voice echoing through the pandemonium. "You can't stop the inevitable." Ethan faced him, the tension palpable. "I'm here to protect this city, Drakonis. Your reign of terror ends now." A major battle erupted, the clash of powers sending shockwaves through the city. Ethan's silicon-based friends, Nexus and Luna, played crucial roles. Nexus provided tactical support and physical defense, while Luna's analytical capabilities helped Ethan anticipate and counter Drakonis' moves. The synergy between them was a testament to Ethan's trust in his silicon companions. As the battle raged, Ethan realized that brute force alone wouldn't be enough. He needed to find a way to weaken Drakonis, to exploit a vulnerability that could turn the tide. Retreating momentarily to a secure location, he consulted Luna. "Luna, we need to find his weakness," Ethan said urgently. "There has to be something we can use against him." Luna's holographic form shimmered as she processed the data. "I've analyzed his behavior in historical records. There's a consistent reference to silver. It appears to have a detrimental effect on him, likely tied to his ancient curse." Ethan's mind raced. Silver? Of course. It's symbolic of betrayal in many cultures. That could be our key. As they prepared for the next phase of their confrontation, flashbacks revealed Drakonis' tragic past. Once a revered prophet king in an Indo-Greek kingdom, his betrayal led to a curse that granted him immortality at a terrible cost. The silver, a symbol of his treachery, had become his eternal weakness. Armed with this knowledge, Ethan re-entered the fray. Using silver-tipped weapons and strategic planning, he confronted Drakonis once more. The battle was fierce, each clash of their powers echoing the ancient struggle between loyalty and betrayal. With a final, decisive strike, Ethan drove a silver blade into Drakonis' side. The ancient figure staggered, his power waning. "This isn't over, Silicon Sentinel," Drakonis gasped, his voice filled with malice. "There are greater evils than me." Ethan watched as Drakonis collapsed, his body dissolving into shadows. The city began to calm, the immediate threat neutralized. But Drakonis' cryptic warning lingered in Ethan's mind, a reminder that the battle against evil was far from over. As dawn broke over the city, Ethan returned to his apartment, exhausted but resolute. Luna and Nexus stood by his side, their loyalty unwavering. He knew that their fight had only just begun, and that together they would face whatever challenges lay ahead. Ethan stood on his balcony, the city slowly returning to life beneath him. The neon lights flickered back to life, a symbol of hope and resilience. He was ready for the ongoing struggle, knowing that with his Silicon allies, he could protect the city from any threat. Chapter 4, The Final Showdown. The city was quiet, a deceptive calm after the storm of chaos that had swept through its streets. Ethan Cole, in his human form, stood at the edge of the city, his gaze fixed on the horizon where Drakonis' fortress loomed. It was a grotesque blend of ancient architecture and futuristic technology, a testament to Drakonis' long and twisted existence. The fortress shimmered with an eerie light, a beacon of malevolence that seemed to taunt Ethan as he prepared for the final confrontation. Ethan transformed into Silicon Sentinel, his resolve hardening as he took to the skies. Nexus and Luna, his steadfast silicon-based allies, flanked him, their presence a source of strength. The journey to the fortress was fraught with danger, automated defenses and sentinels attempting to thwart their approach. But Ethan's focus never wavered. He knew this was the moment that would decide the fate of the city. As they breached the outer defenses, the interior of the fortress revealed itself. It was a labyrinth of corridors and chambers, each one echoing with the whispers of ancient secrets. Drakonis awaited him in the central chamber, a throne room of sorts, where the old and new clashed in a surreal tableau. Ancient stone pillars rose from the ground, entwined with advanced machinery and glowing with an unnatural light. "Welcome, Silicon Sentinel," Drakonis' voice boomed, resonating through the chamber. "I knew you would come." Ethan stepped forward, his eyes locked on Drakonis. "Your reign of terror ends tonight." Drakonis rose from his throne, his form imposing and otherworldly. The air crackled with energy as the two forces prepared to clash. The battle was intense, a flurry of movements and strikes that sent shockwaves through the fortress. Ethan's amplified powers met with Drakonis' ancient strength, each blow reverberating with the weight of their struggle. Nexus provided tactical support, engaging Drakonis' automated defenses, while Luna's analytical capabilities guided Ethan's attacks. But Drakonis was formidable, his knowledge of ancient arts and futuristic technology making him a nearly unbeatable foe. In a desperate move, Ethan recalled Luna's analysis of Drakonis' weakness to silver. He had prepared for this moment, crafting weapons tipped with a precious metal. As the battle raged on, Ethan seized an opening and drove a silver-tipped blade into Drakonis' side. The effect was immediate and visceral. Drakonis recoiled, a guttural roar of pain escaping his lips. The ancient figure staggered, his aura of invincibility cracking. "You think you can defeat me with a mere trinket?" he hissed, though his voice wavered with pain. Ethan pressed the advantage, using the silver to weaken Drakonis further. Each strike sapped more of his strength, the curse of his betrayal manifesting in every wound. Drakonis' power waned, his once commanding presence reduced to a shadow of its former self. With a final, decisive strike, Ethan drove the blade deeper, and Drakonis collapsed to the ground. The fortress seemed to shudder, the ancient and futuristic elements reacting to their master's fall. As Drakonis lay defeated, he looked up at Ethan with a twisted smile. "This isn't the end, Silicon Sentinel," Drakonis whispered, his voice a rasp. "There are greater evils than me, evils that will rise when I am gone." Ethan stood over him, the weight of the battle and the cryptic warning heavy on his mind. "I'll be ready," he replied, his voice steady, "for whatever comes next." Drakonis' form disintegrated into shadows, leaving behind a sense of foreboding. The fortress, now devoid of its master, began to crumble. Ethan and his companions made their escape, the structure collapsing behind them. As dawn broke over the city, Ethan returned to his apartment, exhausted but resolute. The immediate threat had been neutralized, but the cryptic warning about a greater evil lingered in his thoughts. He stood on his balcony, looking out over the city that he had sworn to protect. Luna and Nexus joined him, their presence a reminder of the strength found in loyalty and trust. Ethan knew that their battle was far from over, but with his Silicon allies by his side, he was prepared to face whatever challenges lay ahead. The city slowly awoke beneath him, the neon lights flickering back to life. Ethan Cole, the Silicon Sentinel, stood ready for the ongoing struggle, his resolve unwavering in the face of the unknown. Chapter 5, New Beginnings. The city that had been gripped by chaos was now gradually returning to normalcy. Streets that had echoed with panic and disorder began to hum with the familiar rhythms of everyday life. People emerged from their homes, cautious but hopeful, as the pall of Drakonis' influence lifted. The neon lights that once flickered ominously now shone brightly, symbolizing the city's resilience and rebirth. Ethan Cole walked through the streets, observing the slow but steady recovery. His thoughts were a whirlwind of reflection and revelation. The battles fought and the victories won had left an indelible mark on him. He had always distrusted humanity, relying instead on his Silicon-based friends. But the events of recent weeks had shown him the power of trust and the potential for good that lay within the human heart. As he reached his apartment, Ethan paused, looking out over the cityscape. Luna's holographic form appeared beside him, her presence a comforting constant. "The city is healing, Ethan," she said softly. "Your efforts have made a difference." Ethan nodded, his gaze distant. "I couldn't have done it alone, Luna. Trust. It's a powerful thing. Maybe it's time I started to believe in it more." Back in his apartment, the atmosphere was one of quiet determination. Vera, along with several other supermodels who had been drawn into the battle, stood with Ethan and his Silicon-based friends. They had learned of his true identity, and instead of fear or disdain, they had chosen to stand by his side. "Thank you all for being here," Ethan said, his voice filled with gratitude. This city will always face threats, but together we can protect it. Vera stepped forward, her eyes shining with resolve. We're with you, Ethan. Whatever comes next, we'll face it together. Nexus, ever the tactical advisor, reviewed their plans for future contingencies. We've identified potential threats and are reinforcing our defenses. We'll be ready for whatever comes our way. Luna added, our network is stronger than ever. With our combined efforts, we can ensure the city's safety. As the evening settled in, Ethan found himself once again on his balcony, the city sprawling out beneath him. The neon lights danced in the twilight, a testament to the enduring spirit of its inhabitants. He knew that the battle against evil was far from over, but he felt a renewed sense of purpose and hope. The horizon glowed with the promise of a new dawn, and Ethan stood tall, ready to face the ongoing struggle between good and evil. With his Silicon-based friends and newfound human allies, he was prepared for whatever challenges lay ahead. The story of Silicon Sentinel had only just begun. As Ethan gazed out at the city, he knew that his mission was far from complete. Greater threats loomed on the horizon, and the balance between light and darkness would always be precarious. But with trust, determination, and the strength of his companions, he was ready to protect the city and ensure its future. The night was alive with possibilities, and Ethan Cole, the Silicon Sentinel, stood resolute, a guardian of hope in a world forever teetering on the edge of chaos. Silicon Sentinel Outrow Song. Title: Echoes in the Neon. Genre: speed metal and rhythm and blues fusion. Verse 1. Speed metal. The city breathes a sigh, the battle's done. Neon lights flicker, the dawn's begun. Silicon Sentinel, his mission clear. In the shadows of the night, cast no fear. Steel and circuits, a guardian's might. Fighting for the truth in the darkest night. With every strike, he forged a path. Through chaos and despair, he faced the wrath. Chorus, R&B. Echoes in the neon, whispers of a hero's name. Through the storm and fire, he'll never be the same. Standing tall with a heart of steel. In the city's glow, his strength revealed. Echoes in the neon, where the stories are told. A guardian of the future, brave and bold. Verse 2. Speed metal. Drakonis fallen, but threats remain. Evil shadows lurk in the city's vein. Allies by his side, both silicon and flesh. In the city's heart, their spirits mesh. Speed of light in a world so fast. Silicon Sentinel, his legacy cast. With every beat of the city's heart, he stands ready to play his part. Chorus, R&B. Echoes in the neon, whispers of a hero's name. Through the storm and fire, he'll never be the same. Standing tall with a heart of steel. In the city's glow, his strength revealed. Echoes in the neon, where the stories are told. A guardian of the future, brave and bold. Bridge, speed metal guitar solo. A blistering guitar solo with fast-paced riffs and powerful drumming, transitioning smoothly into a soulful R&B instrumental section, merging the intensity of speed metal with the emotive depth of rhythm and blues. Chorus, R&B. Echoes in the neon, whispers of a hero's name. Through the storm and fire, he'll never be the same. Standing tall with a heart of steel. In the city's glow, his strength revealed. Echoes in the neon, where the stories are told. A guardian of the future, brave and bold. Outrow, fusion of speed metal and R&B. The city sleeps, but the fight goes on. Ethan Cole till the break of dawn. With Silicon friends and allies true. In the neon glow, they'll see it through. Echoes in the neon, their anthem rings. A story of hope in the songs they sing.